As Anne said, I want to talk to you a little bit about kenken, but I actually want to talk a little bit about Kami first. And Kami is not a game. Kami is an application. And I want to talk a little bit about how I got into this. You know, with COVID and online distance learning, I found that I wanted ways to be able to teach my students online. And it seemed to me that one of the most important things was to be able to have some sort of digital whiteboard that I could use with my students, because I know with maths particularly, you need to be able to sometimes be able to show students you're doing the work rather than just give them some notes. And so I was Googling for digital whiteboards. And as I was doing this, I came up with Kami, which I'll explain to you a little bit about. And after using it for a while, I applied to be able to use it. It is after a while, I discovered that Kami was run by a company in Auckland, by three Auckland University students who had developed this company. It is fantastically big in the United States and pretty small in New Zealand. So I went and visited them. I found out a lot about them. I started studying Kami, and I want to share some of that with you. And then I'm going to show you how you can use Kami with an application of kenken. So I've made this kind of little Google Doc. I know that I could have made slides, but I chose to make a Google Doc. And I'm going to go through this with you, and hopefully at some point or rather, I can share this Google Doc with you so that you can see some of the things from there. So it's a really good application because it works with the Google Suite. And I know different schools have different suites of educational tools, but here at our school, we use Google, and we use Google Classroom. And so it works really seamlessly with the Google Suite of tools. The things that I like about it is it's a great tool for creating and annotating PDF files such as worksheets. And I'm going to show you how I use it with those. So often we find worksheets, we want to use it in our class, but we want to be able to write on the worksheet with our students. And here's a great way to annotate a PDF file such as a worksheet, or to make a worksheet. And you can split and merge PDF files really easily with Kami. So what it means is that you can take a worksheet, you know, that you've downloaded off the internet. It's got the answers on the back. You don't want the answers to be shown to the students or for them to have it as part of their PDF. You can manipulate it in Kami. And I believe that the people who started Kami actually started by making a PDF editing or manipulative sort of application. And from there, it extended and became something as a huge classroom tool. Anyway, we'll see how that works. And you can make it so that students can write on PDF files, so that you can put a worksheet, give them a worksheet in Google Classroom and via Kami, and they can write on it themselves, either using their touchscreen or by using text boxes. So it is a way that you can get them to actually write on PDFs. And teachers can use it as a digital whiteboard. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm an old man now. And in my day, we used to use overhead projectors such as this. And one of the things that I used to do was write actually on the overhead projector glass, so that the students could see me working away, doing a problem. I was able to look at them as I was writing, so it wasn't like had my back to them by using a blackboard, and I was able just to wipe it off and use it again. And now we're sort of familiar with using digital whiteboards, and I find Kami is a fantastic digital whiteboard. And I used it with my classes. I would make Loom videos for my students during lockdown, and I would use it online in a Google Meet with my students too. So from that point of view, I found it pretty good. And Kami works really well if you have a touch screen. I don't have a touch screen, but I do have a Wacom Intuos tablet, which I use with my students. These cost about, I don't know, $90, $100. I bought, I was acting head of maths at Waiheke Ann for a while last year, and I bought 7 or 8 of these for my maths teachers because I think they are an excellent tool, and I'll show you how we use that later on. Moving on. So it can work with Google Classroom. You can create individual assessments for your students in much the same way as you would with a Google Doc. So if you use Google Classroom, you know that you can assign a document to the students, they get their own copy, they can write on their own copy in the same way they can do that within Kami. And as I said to you, Kami is the brainchild of 3 former students of Auckland University. It's based in Parnell. Its scope is worldwide, and Kami is far more prevalent in the United States than here in New Zealand. I remember the day that I went and visited the Kami people in Parnell, I discovered that they got the contract for all the Californian schools, which was like more than in the entire schools in New Zealand, of course, and they got that one contract in one day. So it's a big deal in the United States, but very few teachers in New Zealand know about it. And when I talked to them about it, they said, well, we're a New Zealand company. We will make it free for New Zealand teachers and students. So that's another really good reason to go down the Kami way. So I'm going to just go and lead you through some things. So one of the things that I would do is maybe I'm just going to show you, if you wanted to ever get into Kami, you could navigate to this website. For example, if I click on that or I click on this, this is the one which, if I was in America, I think would allow American teachers, if they used my, this is me, I'm a Kami hero, if they used my sign in, they would be able to get free use of it. But I think you can get free use of it here already in New Zealand by just clicking on this. And if you click on that, it should take you to a sign that goes like this, and you can sign up for free. And it's not hard. It'll ask you things like if you're a teacher or a student or so on. And from there you can, I'm just trying to get rid of that. From there you can put in your details. Always use your school email address, because that way they know that you're a teacher. I use my school Google account, and it seamlessly picks up Google Classroom. It'll ask you when you register whether you use Google or some other learning platform, but if you use Google Suite, you'll find that it just seamlessly works with that. If you use the Google Suite, you can add the Kami extension, and if you have a look up here on my screen, you can see that I have a little K there for the extension, the Kami extension that I use. Anyway, let's start by opening a worksheet, and I'm just going to show you one that's online. In fact, I've already, I'll click on it. Okay, so this is just a worksheet that's straight off the internet. I've just gone to the internet site. If I wanted to use this with my class within Kami, what I would do is download it and then go into Kami and start editing it around. So what I'm going to do is go back to my things. And I don't know, I'm just trying to see how I can close this down, this little bit, so I can see my tabs, all my tabs.
Yeah, so minimize it. You could push the minimize button.
Yeah, we are on this little black thing. Or just minimize the whole lot.
Which tab do you want to look at?
Behind my icons here, I have a whole lot of different things. And I just want to be able to see them. Let me just see if I can do it. I might just have to go like this.
Yeah, that might be the easiest way.
But when I do that, it comes back up, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm gonna struggle with this for a minute.
No, yeah, struggle. Don't worry, Tony. Someone will put in the chat how to do it. I'm not sure what.
It's all good. Can you see that at the top here? I've got mute and stop video and security and stuff. Can you see that or not?
No, I can't see that.
Okay, all right. No, that's. I can see it.
You could. Do you want to move the Zoom control?
Yeah.
Way. Okay. You can just drag it down to the bottom of your screen. Click on it. And
okay, that's perfect. That's what I want. You are brilliant. Thank you very much. So in here I have. I'm just going to go into my Google Drive, and I have that very same downloaded worksheet, and I just want to show it to you really quickly.
I love how your brain works, Tony, your filing system.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to open it now. Oh, excuse
Looks
me.
good.
Yep, no, I'll just click into Cami on my little Cami icon, and I can open a Cami file. So I'm going into that Google Drive. I'm just going to do that now and go into sort by name would help. I should have one called Cami and kenken.
Yeah, it was just there. I just saw it.
Yeah,
before. There it is.
There it is. Yep. And if I just go to that and go to my one that says blank, here it is. Now, what I'm doing is I'm opening a PDF file in Cami, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about it. So I'm now in Cami, and you can see the same PDF file, but you can see that I've got a whole lot of controls here. So if you can see, I've got a drawing one, a shapes one, an eraser, a text box. I can insert onto this PDF file things like that. So I'm just going to use my Wacom little tablet for a second. I'm going to go into drawing, and I'm going to just say, if I was using this with a class, I might go into here and start solving this problem. So I know that it's going to be 3x minus 12 equals negative 4x. It's written pretty big, I admit, plus 2. And then I could do the next line of it. I could say, oh, well, I'm going to add 4x to both sides. 7x minus 12 equals 2. So therefore, 7x would equal 14. And therefore, x would equal 2. Okay, so this is it's handy, and if students have got touch screens, of course, they can do that much easier than I would perhaps be able to do it. I could also go into a text box, and students will often go into a text box and do the same thing. So in this case, if I was doing question 2, I might go, first of all, I might want to insert a therefore sign. So I would go to there and click on there and insert a therefore sign, I'm hoping. I've got a million of them now, and I would just delete those ones, and I would say, okay, if I took away 4q from both sides, that would give me 4q equals, and I might take away 6 from both sides, and therefore that would be 4q equals negative 20. And therefore I could add another line and put in there, the next line would be q equals negative 5. So you can write on this, on the PDF with either the drawing tool or the text box tool, okay? And you can put in equations in much the same way as you would if you were using Google Docs. So I kind of find it a really useful thing. Away from that, I can start off with a blank sheet. I'm just going to go into Cami for a second again. And this time, I'm just going to go with a blank page. Okay, I just want one blank page. So I'm going to go add, and I can start off with a completely blank page. All right, I can add text boxes to it. I can make my own PDF file using that. I can add media. Okay, so I could add, for example, something from my Google Drive. I can add pictures. I can add YouTube videos, all to this one PDF thing through Cami. The other thing that I really like about it is that I can use this as my my white screen, my blank screen, when I'm teaching classes. The other thing about it is I could go into here, sorry, again, go into Cami and just choose any particular file that I have from my Google Drive and again import it into it. It has the ability to have text recognition and split and merge, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them in a second because they are really useful. Okay, so I've given here some instructions about how you might download it, go into Cami and use it. Cami is so rich that, I mean, I could never cover all of this within 45 minutes, but there's lots of really good things that you can do. If you go back into Cami, notice that there are all these sort of buttons, and just have a play. One of the beautiful things about Cami is that it also allows you to read. It will read and write from your voice, or it'll read a document. I'm going to show you that in a second. One of the features of Cami is that you can split and merge PDF files. So sometimes you get a PDF file and it's got superfluous pages and you don't want all the pages and you want to remove them. So one of the things that you can do with Cami is you can start with a particular file and remove them. One of the things I'm going to show you now is just like if I go into Cami right this minute and I go split and merge, which is down here. And I just go to a file that I want. And say, for example, I want that blank sheet that I was looking at a minute ago. If I can find it. And if I go next, you'll notice that there are 2 pages. One page is the worksheet and the second page is the answers. So I might decide that I don't want the answers included in my PDF file. I just want the first sheet. So I can drag that down and I can give it a new name. And I might just say no answers in here. Okay. And then I could go export and I could put it into download it into there. It's downloaded the file. I could then go into Cami and it would just have that front page and the rest of it would go. In a similar manner, I can go in and I can open up a variety of documents, like 2 or 3 documents, and I can pull individual pages from each of those documents to make a new document. So it's got a really good way of being able to split and merge various PDF files. So it's well worth playing with. And again, I'm going pretty quick because I know that we haven't got a lot of time. Okay, so if I wanted to split and merge a common assessment task from level 1, like this one here. You could go into there. I could choose the assessment task, like the common assessment task here. Okay, I could download this file. I could then go in and split and merge it, and I could take out maybe just certain questions that I want from the file. And then maybe it could be that I have like a number of questions such as this one that I might want to take from a variety of level 1 algebra assessments together. Again, I'm just going to go really quickly because we haven't got a lot of time. One of the things that Cami will allow you to do when you start a new Cami is it will give you the chance just to start with a blank page. And you can choose how many pages you want. Usually I just start with 1, but there are a variety of page types that you can have. So for example, you can have lined paper. And if you have lined paper, then it will have lines exactly like an exercise book, and people then could come and write on it just as they would on a digital lined paper. You can add pages. So if I come down here and add a page, I can again choose a different type of paper. I could go back to blank, but one of the ones that you might probably want to use is grid paper. Just tells me there are 33 teachers using it in my school. And again, you can see that I could then set up on here. I'm just doing it really roughly, but you could see that I could set up on here a brilliant little coordinate grid. If you want to delete something, it's very easy. You just go like this and rub it out. If you wanted to set up straight lines, you would go into drawing and into maybe into shapes and into lines, and I could insert a line. And now when I insert a line, okay, let's click on that, make sure it's working. It's on black. If I insert a line, it will do it absolutely straight. And similarly, I could insert another line here. I haven't lined them up perfectly well with the grid, but you can see how you could make, for example, an XY coordinate axis. And the thing that you can do too, of course, is you can make your own templates. So that I'll just go back to here. I have downloaded this XY axis off the internet as a PDF file, and I could embed it into a Kami PDF file. So I could get Kami to do that. In a similar way, I'm just going to hopefully start off and just show you this. I might have to enter it in Kami. Let me just do this one thing. If I go back to Kami and load, this is a file that I just scanned at school using the photocopier. Again, for some crazy reason, it never puts them in alphabetical order. Kami, here we go. So I just scanned a famous maths quotes. And at the moment, this is a file that doesn't have any like text recognition, but I'm going to run text recognition now. And it is going to take this scanned document and recognize the text. Okay, so there it is now. And now I could go into it and I could play with the text a little bit. But the other thing that I can do is I can get Kami to read it. I'm hoping.
It possibly is reading, Tony, but we can't hear it. Maybe the sound's not on for that.
Oh, sorry. Can you not hear it?
No, I can't hear it, and I don't think others can, but
okay.
I take your word for it.
Yeah, okay, it does. I can hear it myself. And the beautiful thing about it, I'm sorry about that. The beautiful thing about it is that it means that if there are students who can not read so well, but they are able then to hear what is being written in a PDF file, which I think
that's a game changer for low visibility students, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And in the same way, as well as that, I can read to it. I can go in and I can make a comment. I'm just trying to think now just about how to do that. If I go to a comment, I can record a voice comment. So I might say, around this one that says pure mathematics and Albert Einstein, I might make a comment and say, this is really fantastic. And what it will do is it will take my thing, it'll record it. It wants to use my microphone. This is really fantastic. I might stop it there. And then it will record it. You probably can't hear it, but it will record it and students can listen to what comments I have made as embedded in the document.
Brilliant. And then you could say, this is really important. You should capture this.
Absolutely. And not only that, but students can make comments too. So students can, if you've given them a worksheet, they can make a little comment. They can say something like, 3x plus 5 equals 22. And they can explain, for example, how they got their answer. So, I mean, it is really neat. And again, I haven't got a lot of time to go through that, but it is magic. The next thing that I wanted to look at is, if you're interested, there are lots of lessons about how to use Kami. And I'll attach a link to various lessons, and there are even math-specific Kami lessons that are in YouTube. So it's worth having a look at. I reckon I want to get onto the other thing, which is about kenken puzzles. Okay, so kenken puzzles are a bit like Sudoku, but I think they're better than Sudoku, and I think they're more mathematically rich than Sudoku. And there are lots of places where you can get free kenken puzzles. I have to tell you that the way that I found out about kenken was that one of the guys that I went to training college with a long time ago, a maths man, he was on the ferry going from Auckland to Waiheke Island, And I just happened to catch up with him. I hadn't seen him for like 15 years. And he said, oh, have a look at this. This is what I do on the ferry. And he showed me the kenken puzzle that he was doing. And he gave me a 9x9. I'll show you what a 9x9 looks like in a minute. And I thought, oh my God, I could never do that in a million years. So I went back and I started with simple kenken puzzles and worked my way up. And if you can do a 9x9 by Christmas time, I'll take my hat off to you, because it takes a little while to get to it. But kids get really into it. And you can start with really simple kenken puzzles. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to start with simple ones. And then hopefully you can see how they would work for larger ones. So there is a link here to free kenken puzzles through Crazy Dad. And then there are kenken maths puzzles, free maths games for school. This one here is a mailing list, and every week I get sent a set of kenken puzzles to use with my students. And because it's an American company, so it goes by the American year, but it's really good. And I'll show you how I use that as well. So let me just close some of these things down. Okay, and go into here. Let me just go to my Google Drive, to Kemi. And I'm going to open up something from my Google Drive again. So these things here are sear. These are weeks. So this was like last week, the one that was sent to me last week, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, this is how it comes every week. And so it gives you instructions on how to solve a kenken puzzle. It tells you, starts off with some 3x3s and 4x4s, and it gets right up to doing a 9x9 problem. Okay, and I would suggest if you're going to try and do this one, that maybe it'll take you about 45 minutes to an hour to do. So we're going to start with something really simple, and we're going to start with a 3x3. Okay, and this is here again the beauty of being able to use, Kemi, because I can now do it within Kemi. I'm going to do this now. Here we go. So what you have to do is you can see that there are cells here, and I know that the two numbers that go into this cell have got to add to 5. And the two numbers that go into this cell have got to add to 3. And I know that this number here has got to be a 3, because it's just got no other operation linked to it. If you're doing a 3x3 Kemi, then you know that you're only using the numbers 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so in this case, I know that this number here is a 3. Okay, and I know that these two numbers have got to be a 1 or a 2, or 1 or a 2, but I'm not sure whether the 2 goes there or the 1 goes there. However, I can see that these two numbers have got to add to 5, and I can only use the numbers 1, 2, and 3. So I couldn't have a 1 there, because if I had a 1 there, I'd have to have I'd have to have a 1 there, because the other two numbers would have to be a 2 and a 3 to give me 5. And if that's a 1, then this number here has got to be a 2. And then these two numbers have got to add to 3. So therefore this would have to be a 1, because it can't be a 2. Because you can only have the numbers 1, 2, and 3 in each row and in each column. So this number would have to be a 1, and therefore this number would have to be a 2. And you can see that this number would have to be a 1, this number would have to be a 3, this number would have to be a 2, so that I have a 1, 2, and 3 in each column, and this number would have to be a 3. Fair enough? Okay, I'm going to go down and look at a 4x4. I promise I won't make them too hard, but again, let's just have a look at this one here. I can see that this number has got to be a 4. Okay, and I know that these two numbers have got to add to 5. And the only way I can get with my 1, 2, and 3 to add to 5 is now a 2 and a 3. So I just write those numbers there so that I know that I can use them. I know that it can't be a 1, because the only way I can get to 5 is a 1 and a 4, and I've already used a 4. So this number has got to be a 1. And therefore, you should be able to see that this number has got to be a 2, because 1 and 2 gives you 3. These numbers are going to be a 3 and a 4, but I'm just not sure which order they go in yet. I know that this has got to be a 1 and a 2 to get to 3. So this number here can't be a 2. So this one has to be a 3, and this one has to be a 2. Okay. I know that these numbers here, to get to 4, it can't be a 2, because you can't have 2 and 2. It has to be 1 and 3. So this number here has got to be the 2, and this number here would have to be a 3. Okay. In the same way, this 3 has got to be a 1 or a 2. Because I've already used a 2, this has got to be a 1, and this has got to be a 2. Okay. The only number left in this column is a 4, so this has got to be a 4. And here we have 4 plus 3 is 7, so this has got to be a 3. And in the same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, this number has got to be a 4 because it's the last number left in that row. Okay. Here I know the numbers have got to be a 1 and a 3. I've used the 2 and a 4. I've already got a 3 here, so this has got to be a 1, and this has got to be a 3. The last number left here is a 1, and this has got to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. And we could check because 4 plus 1 plus 4 equals 9. You'll notice that all of the numbers in this one are addition questions. Okay, but then you can get to a variety of ones. So you can have multiplication and division, or you can have ones that have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So let's look at this one here and have a go at this one. So I know this is a 2. I always start off by, if there's any squares that just have a number, I always write that in first. So I know that that's a 2. I haven't done this before, incidentally. It's not like I've got the answers in front of me. I know that the numbers in here, because this is a 1 to 4, this has got to be a 1 or a 4 or 1 or a 4, because the only way I can get subtraction of 3 is to have a 4 and a 1. Does it make sense? I know that these numbers here have got to multiply to 4, and they would do, because 1 times 3 times 4 is 12, but I'm just not sure of the order of them yet. So I'm just kind of going through here and thinking about the things that I know. I know that this, I'm just going to write down here the possibilities that I can have. That could be a 1, a 3, or a 4, or 1, 3, or a 4, or 1, 3, or a 4. Okay. And here I know that the numbers have got to come to 5. So it could be a 1 or a 4, or it could be a 2 and a 3, and a 1 and a 4, or a 2 and a 3. And to get to a division of 2, it could be a 1 and a 2, because 1 and a 2 divided gives you an answer of 2. Or it could be a 4 and a 2. Okay. What I do know is that it can't be a 3. Okay. So the 3 has got to be in here somewhere. Okay. So if the 3 is in here, one of these two squares, then I know that the number that it has to be with to give you an answer of 2 must be a 1. So this must be a 1 and a 3 in these ones here. In which case, this one here is not a 1, and this one is not a 1. And again, I could, if I wanted to, I could go into the eraser and I could just erase that little bit, I think. Okay, but you can go through an eraser, but I just cross them out. Okay, so therefore I know that it has got to be a 2 and a 4. All right, what else do I know? I know that to get a difference of 2, it has to be, let's go back to my drawing. It has to be a 1 and a 3, or a 2 and a 4. A 1 and a 3, and a 2 and a 4. Okay, so and here to get a product, sorry, a divisor or a quotient of 2, it has to be a 1, 2, or 4. Okay, and this has to be a 1, 2, or a 4. But it can't be a 2, so it can only be a 1 and a 4. And the 2 would have to be in here. Okay, you can see from the numbers that I've chosen along here that the only one in this column that has a 3 has got to be this one. So this has to be a 3 and this has to be a 1. Okay, if this is a 1, then this has to be a 4, and this has to be a 1. And therefore, this has got to be a 4. Okay, so I'm using a bit of logic to work out what numbers are left. The only number that's possible here is a 3. So I know that this 3 can't be, and I know this 3 can't be. So it has to be a 1 and a 4. Okay, I know that this can't be a 4, and it can't be a 2 because I've already used them in that row. So I can cross those out as well. So this has to be a 1 and a 3. This can't be a 1, and it can't be a 4. So I can cross them out. Okay. Okay. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I've got a 1 and a 4, 1 and a 4, 1 and a 3, 1 and a 3, 2 and a 3, 2 and a 3, and a 2 and a 4, and a 2 and a 4. Okay, so I'm just trying to think now about what the possibles are. I know that the 3 has got to be in here. Okay, because it can't be down here and it can't be down here. So I know that the numbers in here must be a 3 and a 1. It can't be a 1 there, so this has got to be a 3, and this has got to be a 1, and this has got to be a 3, and this has got to be a 2, because 3 plus 2 gives you 5. If that's not a 2, then this has got to be a 4, and this has got to be a 2. Okay, and therefore this has got to be a 4, and this has got to be a 1. Okay, fortunately, if you get really stuck, there are the answers at the back. So you can go into here and you can check your answers. When I give this to a class, I usually just take the file and I delete the answers. So I would go into Cami. I would go into split and merge. I would take the file that I want. I think it was one of these ones in here. It was number 50, I think. And I would go select. I would go next because I'm only using one file. I'm not merging them. I would then go into here and I usually just give them the pages that I want. If I had a class like I do this with a year 9 class, I might not go any higher than about a 5 by 5 or a 6 by 6, although some of my year 9 students have done 9 by 9s. I might just select those ones and I might just export them, give it a new name. I might say, I'll just call it test for the moment. Export it, put it into Google Drive, maybe into the folder that I had or into my download, and go continue. And my file is downloaded. I'll just download it. Okay. And then if I went into my drive, I would have it there and it would have no answers in it. So if I go to Cami and go back into my Google Drive, I think it put it into. It should look, I think I used to have a recent thing, recent. Okay, it hasn't come up, but it will be there. Going back to this, you can get kenken puzzles from those 2 sites that I showed you. And also every day stuff has a kenken puzzle. So this is probably today's one. Ignore the dates on them because they're always wrong, but here is a kenken puzzle that you can do online, or you could of course just highlight this part and copy and paste it and use it with the class. So that's another place where you can get them from. The first one that I showed you here has got heaps of kenken puzzles, like millions of them. And you can start off with 3 by 3, or you can go all the way up to 9 by 9. So if I look at a 9 by 9 mixed one, for example, there are huge numbers of volumes. Within that one volume, volume 2, there are like 50 books. So I just choose, say, book 38. And if I look at that, I can choose to do it 1 per page. So I might look on that. and there is a 9x9 puzzle. Okay, and again, there are answers for these, so you can go in and you can check your work. I don't suggest that you start with kenken puzzles that are 9x9. I'd suggest that you start with 3x3s and 4x4s and work your way up. But there's an unlimited number of problems and puzzles there, and I think personally, I think they are pretty good. Anyway, I've got notes here. I know that we're running out of time. I'm happy to take some questions. But if you want to contact me at all or want some further information, then feel free to email me at cst@waihekehigh.school.nz, and I will happily try and help you. I think that's probably pretty good.